time for Nekopara Volume 1! Yay! Woohoo! Now we'll actually get to see where everyone else started with 1, 2, and 3. Hell, 4 hasn't released yet, so we got some time to kill before then. But let's go ahead and get started. I am recording it, so YouTube will have their part. Here we go.
ありがとうございました。では失礼します。
Whew! This should be most of the boxes then. Wipe the sweat off my forehead with my arm, as the moon truck disappeared from view. Although it was early April and only the beginning of spring, today's weather was quite nice. It was even a bit hot. Well, it was a good day for a new start. Turned my head to look at the empty bakery, which didn't even have any signature or signage yet. Almost said that wrong. Brand new exterior wall had a western look with a predominantly white and brown motif, meaning that's what the exterior looked like. Which, for a bakery, that actually fits the etiquette of their color schemes and whatnot. Damn fly, get out here. There was also a large window which lets lots of sunlight in. I'm sorry if you guys hear the drink, but I had to pour myself another thing of water. And finally, there was the words that displayed the name of the bakery. Le Soleil. Instead of the proper French article, le, it was la. Soleil, meaning the sun. This was a nod toward the name of the shop of someone I admired. Now that I'm on my own, I have to do my best, I slowly murmured to myself. From here on out, no one would tell me what to do. I was going to start completely anew despite the stature of my family's name and everything that had happened up to until now. I alone would decide my path and take responsibility for what I do. In exchange for that freedom, I can't blame anyone else for what happens. Still, though I was a bit worried, the thought of what lay ahead made me break into a smile. Alright, in any case, I better get these things cleaned up. Took a deep breath and got my spirits back up. I stepped into the new smelling bakery. Hell, more reading in this one than Volume 0 and Extra. What's with this big box? In front of me was a large box I didn't recognize. In fact, there were 2 of them. Oh no. Fragile, delicate. Absolutely this side up. If thrown, your company will be in trouble. The warnings were going overboard. They were getting annoying. Even if these are baking supplies, I don't remember buying anything quite like this. First off, they were boxes that looked like they came from my house. If these were for the bakery, there's no way I wouldn't remember buying them. There were no tags from the moving company either. All there were those warning labels. Well, I'll know for sure once I open the... Huh? Uh, oh, it's just a cat, huh? Just a troublesome cat. Jeez.
よかった。ごまかせたみたい。 危ない危ない。気をつけにゃいと。
Like that would fool me. What are you doing, Chocola?
お久しぶりですね、ご主人様。
We just saw each other at home yesterday, you know.
まあ、それはそうなんですけど。あ、それよりちょっと聞いてください。引っ越し業者の人たちひどいんですよ。ショコラのこと運ぶときにですね、この段ボール重いから気をつけろよとか言って思わずふしゃーって泣きそうになっちゃいました。ふしゃーって。一生懸命に我慢しましたけど、ショコラはプンプンですよ。プンプン。
Well, compared to the rest of my things, you are heavy. She ignored what I said. Chocolate puffed out her cheeks. You could say that she was always happy-go-lucky, or rather, she preoccupied herself with only what was in front of her. Well, I guess that's how you describe Chocola. While I was getting ready to move, I did wonder why I didn't see you. Hey. Hello,
お
Vanilla.
久しぶり、ご主人。引っ越し業者のトラックの中が埃っぽくて、鼻がムズムズつらかった。
Why is Vanilla here
シ
too?
ョコラがいるところ、それは私がいるところだから。それに、猫は狭いところは嫌いじゃない。あと私も、こっちの段ボールも重いから気をつけろよーとか言われた。だから私もおこ。どんすか。
You don't look it. Again, huh? In any case, Chocolate Vanilla, get out of there. I was at my wits' end with the large boxes that had suddenly shown up. Anyhow, Chocolate and Vanilla got out their boxes. Good. Why is no one picking up the phone? Just what is Sugar doing? I hung up after trying to call my little sister. There was no way that Chocolate and Vanilla could have gotten mixed in with the rest of the boxes in the first place. On the outside, cat girls look almost like humans. They can understand words and can talk just like us. But more than humans, cat girls were closer to normal cats. After all, cat girls had ears and tails just like cats do. They were genetically modified humanoid cats that were commonly referred to as cat girls. These days, cat girls fit into society as pets and families or partners to humans. My little sister really loves to dot on cat girls, so our family has 6, including Chocola and Vanilla. In any case, they couldn't have mailed themselves in on their own. Mailing living things through the post would be impossible, for one thing. There's no way my parents would have helped with this either. Thus, I could only guess that this was somehow Sugar Ray's doing. I see, so Sugar Ray was an accomplice then.
にゃー、すごく綺麗なお家ですにゃー。新しいお布団とか家具の匂いとか好きですにゃー。思ってたより広い。ご主人の解消バッチリ。バニラ、あっちの部屋行ってみよう。探検。位置的におそらく寝室。きっとご主人の新しいベッドがあるはず。にゃー、それは聞き逃せないね。 もふもふしに行こう。もふもふ了解。私もそれはいいと思う。
God.
そうと決まればレッツゴー。
Don't get out of control and hurt yourselves.
はーい。
Without any ill intentions, the two cat girls were off and running. Well, the bakery did have living quarters on the second floor, so I wasn't worried about them causing a ruckus around here. Of course, they aren't young cat girls anymore either, so I shouldn't have to worry about them getting out of control too much. Well, besides that, I looked up an address in my phone's address book. Minaduki Residence. I already left Sugar a message, so she should call me back later. Without pressing the call button, I put my cell phone back in my pocket. I had moved out without saying anything, so for her to call me back within the day seemed a bit stupid. Well, it wasn't really an issue I needed to bring up right this moment. I should hear from Sugar soon anyhow.
ご主人様のお布団、もふもふ完了であります。
Of course you did.
新しいお布団、すごくふかふか。合格点。
Passing score? Good work, you two. Gosh, both of you have major bedhead. Sheesh.
ご主人様のなでなで大好き。気持ちいいです。苦しゅうない。もっと。
I tidied up their hair with a comb. Their soft hair felt nice as always. I lightly bonked them on the head while they had their eyes closed. Now then, why were the two of you hiding among my moving boxes?
ご主人様が連れてってくれないって言うから仕方なく。ショコラが行くって言うからノリで。
You had no choice. Just tagged along. You two. Well, I figured that had to be the reason, but anyhow, I composed myself. Said that wrong. And looked at the two of them again. Listen up, okay? How many times have I told you to? This isn't a vacation or a picnic. I moved out because I have no intention of going back there. If you were at home, you wouldn't have anything to worry about. Sugar and other cat girls are there too. It would be better if you two just... And immediately they're hungry.
違うんです。これはお腹が反抗期なだけなんです。だから違うんです。本当に。朝早かったせいで朝ごはん食べ損なったから仕方ない。
Oh,
そ
really?
れにショコラはお腹の音もかわいい。
True, it is, but come on now. While listening to those silly excuses, I glanced at a clock and saw that it was already past 1 o'clock. Now that I thought about it, I haven't eaten anything since this morning either. Well, why don't we have lunch first then?
ご主人様大好き。さすがご主人は話がわかる。かたじけない。
God, these two were as easygoing as always.
Nekopara.
Those
お買い
little things.
物。ご主人様とお買い物。やー。最近はご主人が全然お買い物連れて行ってくれなかったから、ショコラのテンションが青天井。にゃー。バニラだって実はウキウキしてるくせに。
act up, and food. Yay!
ほーら、ほっぺふにふにしちゃうぞ。はい、ショコラ、くすぐった。
Really?
ダメ。
You bother those around us, so try not to get too carried away, you two. Since the refrigerator was empty, we headed to the nearby shopping district to buy groceries. From brand name clothing stores to supermarkets, there was an array of stores. There was even a drugstore with daily necessities amongst them. If you come here, we have just about everything. That was how the real estate agent had recommended this place to me. Wait, don't you two go shopping with Sugar Ray often?
もう、しぐれちゃんとご主人様じゃ全然違うんです。はあ、ご主人はほんと、ご主人たる自覚がなくて困る。ショコラが不憫。
Hey, first of all, Sugar Ray is your master.
しぐれちゃんもご主人様だけど、しぐれちゃんはしぐれちゃんなんです。だからご主人様はご主人様なんです。全然違うでしょ？ね、ね。理屈になってないけど、熱意は伝わる。さすがはショコラ。パチパチパチ。
Never mind then. Ow. Keep it down inside the store, okay? I parted from the two of them. I decided to hurry on ahead.
ご主人様、シャンプーはこれがいいってしぐれちゃんが言ってましたよ。これ、毛並みがサラサラになるし、すごく甘くていい匂いがする。
But that's stuff for you two to use. I don't need it, so put it down and come over here.
ご主人様、ひどい。ひどいぶった切りようです。よしよし、ショコラ泣かないの。ご主人はひどい人だね。
Don't just say that and then toss that in the basket all nonchalantly.
ガードが硬い。
I had to be on guard or they would sneak something in when I wasn't paying attention. They even tried to grab another basket for themselves at the supermarket earlier. It was apparent to me how dreadful an idea it was when they decided to come along.
ごめんなさい、ご主人様。久しぶりのご主人様とのお買い物でテンション上がっちゃって。猫は素直だから仕方ないね。ご主人も素直になればいいのに。さ。
It has nothing to do with being honest, I'm telling you. Don't just put the shampoo in the basket like that. Put it
交渉
back.
です。お願いします、ご主人様。何卒ショコラたちのシャンプーを買ってください。シャンプーもない家に帰るのは悲しい。猫的に油髪は気持ち悪い。あの猫ちゃんたち、シャンプーもろくに買ってもらえないのかしら。かわいそうに。猫虐待で通報した方がいいんじゃないのかしら、あれ。
Don't put on some act to confuse the customers around us. Seriously. We only just moved here, and suddenly we already have disapproving glances directed at us.
ご主人様とのお出かけは楽しいです。思わずニャンニャン言いたくなっちゃいますね。ニャンニャン。私たちのものは何も買ってくれなかったけど。
I'm not a cheapskate. Besides, I nearly got reported. After that, it was the same sort of exchange at the supermarket. The whole thing was so awkward that I don't think I can visit that shopping district for a while. Well, I guess you could say that was the cute side of cat girls. あっちからすごくいい匂いがする。 Oh no.
ほんとだ。すごく香ばしくていい匂いがします、ご主人様。
Definitely does. What is this smell? I turned toward the source of it.
いらっしゃいませ。美味しい出来たてのたこ焼きいかがですか？
Takoyaki, of course.
熱々で鰹節たっぷりのたこ焼きいかがですか？猫のたこ焼き屋さんだ。珍しいですね、ご主人様。
No.
ほんとだ。小さい子猫ちゃん、かわいい。
It was a cat girl younger than Chocola and Vanilla. She waved her tiny hands as she politely drew customers in. In human terms, she looked like she was about 12 or 13 years old. In cat years, she was about 6 months old. The young cat girl noticed us and ran over.
猫のお姉ちゃんだ。私と一緒だね。にゃんにゃん。一緒だね。にゃんにゃん。喉ゴロゴロしてあげちゃおう。ゴロゴロ。子猫は無邪気で超かわいい。半端ない。私はなでなでしてあげちゃう。なでなで。
すみません、うちの猫が。あの猫ちゃんたちの飼い主さん？
The owner of the food stand greeted us. Yes, I am. Well, to be more exact, my little sister is their
す
owner.
ごく可愛くてお利口な猫ちゃんたちだね。愛想もいいし、言葉もしっかりしてるし。うちのはまだ7ヶ月なんだけどね。
Oh, 7 months. Wow, he was off by a month.
もうちょっとしたら、あんな風にちゃんとしてくれるのかな。
The food stand owner had a wary smile on her face, like she was talking about a mischief child of hers. At a glance, it was understandable that seeing a young cat girl made it easy to overlook these things. Mine were originally strays, so I don't actually know how old they are. The veterinarian said they were twins and were now about 9 months old. My little sister is actually quite the education freak. Back then, they were really nosy, but it was all worth it.
しぐれちゃんがちゃんとお勉強教えてくれたんです。いい子になれるようにって。しぐれ、厳しい。でも、おかげさまでいろいろと覚えた。
そうなんだ。いいご主人様なのね。
あ、でもご主人様はご主人様なんです。しぐれちゃんはしぐれちゃんですから。ね、ご主人様。通訳すると、しぐれは大事な友達。ご主人って呼ぶのは、こっちのご主人だけってことで。
愛されてるんだね、ご主人様は。
Well, I am grateful. She slightly nudged me with her elbow. I responded with an embarrassed, forced smile. Hearing this kind of stuff in public sure was
子
embarrassing.
猫ちゃん、ちょっと上向いてごらん。上こうすきあり。ゴロゴロゴロ。
Gah!
ゴロゴロゴロ。
The three of them were getting along very well. The food stand owner looked fondly at them from
うち
nearby.
の子ももともと野良だったんだよね。今日みたいにたこ焼き売ってたらお腹空かせて寄ってきてさ。そのまま拾って今じゃ自分の娘みたいなもんになってさ。店まで手伝ってくれるようになってね。人型猫が流行したこともあったけど、普通の猫の何倍も飼うのが大変だからね。
Her words seemed tingled with blame and worry. She grumbled, letting out a sigh. Not that long ago, it wasn't rare to see stray humanoid cats just wandering throughout town. But now it is more likely to see one to see humanoid cats that are well loved by their owners. So the amount of unfortunate humanoid cats had decreased. There was more of a balance, and owners were quite elated.
ほんと責任感のない連中ばっかりで嫌気もさすけど、でもそいつらのおかげで可愛い娘に会えたのかなって思うとなんとも言えないけどね。
There's a bright and honest laugh. I'm not in agreement. That is true. This must be how pets find their way back to their owners. I smiled at such an uncharacteristic thought from me.
そうだった。お姉ちゃんたち、たこ焼きはいかがですか？熱々で大きいタコが入ってて、すっごく美味しいですよ。すっごく美味しいたこ焼き。でも、これから帰ってご飯だから。ご主人が作ってくれるから、ごめん。
Chocola and Vanilla's shoulders drooped downheartedly. As I hung their heads, I rubbed them from behind. I took a look at the little takoyaki seller. Okay, 3 hours of takoyaki. Can you do that for me?
たこ焼き3つ？
Her large eyes blinked as she tilted her head in confusion. Yeah, for me, chocolate and vanilla. Could you do that for me?
はい、たこ焼き3つですね。ご主人様、オーダーです。たこ焼き3つ。ご主人様。
It's going to take time to get home and make dinner after all. Besides, I want to try the takoyaki here too.
はい、そこらも、もうお腹が切なくグーグー泣いてました。すごく嬉しいです。ご主人かっこいい。しぐれがいつもツンデレ実刑はいいものですと言ってるだけのことある。
A what? Wait, what does that mean?
はいはい。じゃあこっちにあるメニュー好きなトッピングと味選んでね。うちの猫が遊んでもらった分サービスさせてもらっちゃうよ。
ありがとうございます。ショコラはマヨネーズかかってるのが好きです。ありがたくいただきます。ペコリ。私は明太子チーズがいい。
My question was completely ignored. Well, I guess I shouldn't let it bother me, huh? I wonder about that as I looked at Choco and Vanilla, happily awaiting their takoyaki in front of the food stand. Of course, meow meow meow.
ネコパラ。
Gah. I still can't get a hold of her. Were there guests over today? When I checked the clock, it was past 10 o'clock already. Since then, I tried calling Cigarette several times but couldn't get through to her. And just like that, it had already gotten this late. I've never gone this long without hearing from Cigarette. I really didn't understand my family's schedule at all.
ご主人様、ご主人様。久しぶりに一緒にお風呂入りましょう。お背中流してあげますから。私たちの発育が良くなってからお風呂入れてくれなくなった。ご主
Really?
人のエロ。
You haven't grown that much. What are you two talking about?
にゃですと。ショコラとバニラはもう立派なレディー猫だってしぐれちゃんが言ってましたし。
Really?
その発言がセクハラ。猫の尊厳を踏みにじってる。それに、ショコラは今くらいがアイデンティティ。
But now, you're the one changing the subject. In any case, don't worry about the bath. You two need to get ready to go home.
帰る支度？ショコラの家はご主人様のお家ですけども。ショコラの隣が私の居場所だし。あと、ご主人かっこいい。なんか、妙に男前に見えてきた。
Stop feigning ignorance, you two. Cut that out. The two of them looked my way, about to distract me again. Since Sugar isn't picking up, I'll take you two home. So go get ready to leave. Choco and Vanilla turned away from me and cast their gazes downwards. Returning home on the same day I had moved out. It seemed to be such a stupid idea that I did hesitate a bit. There was no other way. Nor was there time for excuses. I looked toward Choco and Vanilla as they hung their heads in silence and continued on. Listen up, you two. I'm going to open my bakery I've got no one to rely on, so I don't know how things will turn out. With all that's going on, I don't know if I can take care of you two. Get it? I mean, it's already going to be difficult enough just looking after myself.
す。
It was a quiet voice I could barely hear. Chocola said something with her head down. What did you say? I came closer and asked her to repeat herself.
嫌です。ショコラは絶対に帰りません。そんなこと言うご主人様は嫌いです。
Wait, hey, Chocola.
私もダットのごとく、いや、脱猫のごとく離脱。
What the fuck? Wait, stop! Vanilla, why are you running away too?
ほらほら、ご主人様、こっちですよ。ショコラはこちらにございます。
It's dangerous, so stop running around. If you fall, you'll get hurt.
猫にそんな心配はご不要。人型でも猫は猫。さささ。
Maybe so in Chocola's case, but aren't you bad with physical activity? Come on, I got you now, Chocola.
ご主人様のエッチ、どこ触ってるんですか？ご主人、ショコラの胸もろ触ってる。もうわしづかみ。
I am not. It's because you two are running around.
にゃーん、隙ありです。
Hey, stop it. You're still going to run? I got you,
ちょこ
Vanilla.
ちょこちょこちょこちょ
What? Chocola, stop, really, stop.
ナイスアシスト、ショコラ。ささ。
Like I said, stop running. The two of them didn't listen to a word I said as they continued to mess with me. That was how the first night went. Damn. For now, I'll let you stay, but only for tonight. I don't have guest beds or futons, okay? But all that was happening, 11 o'clock became midnight. Even I took them home, everyone was sure to be asleep by now. The one glimmer of hope I had that Shiro would call me back didn't happen. So I decided that taking them home tomorrow was my first
も
priority.
ちろんご主人様のベッドで寝ます。私もご主人のベッドで我慢する。
Clearly, they had even brought pajamas. Just how much planning went into their schemes anyway? Really, if you two sleep there, where will I?
一緒に寝てくれないんですか？この子に及んで。ご主人は人の男子なのにお行儀が悪い。順番はご主人、ショコラ、私でいい。にゃー。ご主人様とバニラに囲まれて幸せにゃー。
Don't get ahead of yourselves, you two. A single bed for 3 people is too crowded.
じゃあ押しかけたのはショコラたちですし、ここでいいですよ。猫らしく丸まって寝ますし。贅沢は言わない私たち、超けなげ。猫の鏡。こんな感じで。
I watched the two of them lie down and curl up on the floor in an empty room without even curtains. That's way too pitiful of a sight to be called praiseworthy.
お引っ越ししたばかりで段ボールたくさんありますよね。お家作ったらあったかいって聞いたし、なんとかなる気がする。
Oh my gosh. That's something only strange people would say. Where did these cat girls get this information from, anyways? Well, they probably read a lot of books and watched TV in Sugar's room. Chocola isn't good with kanji characters, so she only reads picture books, though. Whatever. You two go sleep in my bed. It's still getting pretty cold at night in April after
そ
all.
したらご主人様はどうするんですか？ショコラの隣？
I'm going to sleep on the sofa in the living room. The sofa can fit one person. There's air conditioning in there if I need
ダ
it.
メですよ。それならショコラがソファーで寝ますから。ご主人様はバニラと一緒にお布団で寝てください。私こそソファーのが落ち着く。ショコラとご主人でベッド使えばいい。
They move quickly towards me like lions catching their prey. I placed my hands on their heads and spoke in a clear and stern voice. Listen up, I will sleep on the sofa. You two will sleep in my bed. Those are your master's orders, understood?
ご主人様。ご主人。
I said it like that deliberately. The two of them looked as if they wanted to say something, but they hesitated. They lowered their heads apologetically.
ごめんなさい。ご主人様。ごめんなさい。ご主人。
They mustered out. They looked like they were on the verge of tears. Their obedience had the exact opposite of the effect I expected. It filled me with guilt. I felt a prickling sensation in my chest. That pain left me as I sighed and rubbed the two of them on the head. Come on, get going.
はい。
Good night. If anything happens, call for me right
は
away.
い。おやすみなさい。ご主人様。おやすみ、ご主人。
Oh my gosh. I gently rubbed the heads of the two despited cat girls once more. See you in the morning. With that said, I turned the lights off in the room.
ご主人様。本当にごめんなさい。迷惑をかけてしまって。
Her vanishing voice echoed slightly in the darkened room. The pain in my heart from before became even sharper. I swallowed that pain and replied cheerfully, It's okay if it's just for one night, don't worry
ご
about it.
主人様。
Now then, go to sleep. I really shouldn't act on my emotions, huh? I laid down on the sofa. I sighed while staring at the ceiling. If I gave in to my emotions, the result would have led to more sadness. If I used kind or hopeful words, they would all end up as lies. It's pretty uncool of me to be so passive like this. Where I continue to pile on insults and make excuses for my actions, close my eyes and wait for sleep to take over. Don't think it's gonna happen. Oh, it did.
ネコパラ。
Okay.
その件に関しては、ショコラとバニラの意思を尊重したいと思います。
Yeah.
ショコラとバニラがちゃんと納得したら迎えに行きますので。
Was what she told me when I was finally able to get in touch with her. Without any margin of negotiation space, I was struck down. But Sugar, even if you say that, I don't think Chocola and Vanilla
と
will.
ころで兄様、この妹目に今朝の愛のささやきを。
Don't make it sound like his daily ritual or something. In any
あ、
case,
すみません。お父様から呼ばれましたので失礼いたします。愛してますわ、兄様。ではまた。
wait, Sugar. Seriously? As the ruthless electronic buzz of the dropped phone call echoed, I stared at my cell phone. And here I thought I could sort all this out if I could just talk to Sigre.
朝ごはんおいしいですね。ご主人様のご飯はいつでもおいしいですにゃ。ショコラ、ほっぺにケチャップついてる。芸術的にかわいい。舐めてあげちゃう。ペロペロ。
The cat girls in question were happily stuffing themselves with sandwiches. These sandwiches instantly contained tomato, cheese, and lettuce. Almost a BLT. With an over easy fried egg tucked inside all of that, it was a simple meal. Breakfast was pretty much like this. You two are definitely going home today, okay?
ご主人様はショコラたちといるの楽しくないですか？ショコラは楽しいですよ。もうそれは今世紀最大級に。昨晩はご主人だって結構お楽しみだったくせに。
Stop with the deliberately misleading words. I sighed at their happy-go-lucky mindset. I took the opportunity to fill their empty glasses with milk. The eating habits of cat girls were pretty much the same as those of humans, so that part was straightforward. Of course, what they liked and disliked depended on each individual cat girl. Yay. In the end, I wasn't able to get everything put away yesterday. Today, I really do have to start getting ready for the bakery's opening, too. That's why I don't have time to relax and play with you two. So be good girls and go home. I said that to them with a sandwich in my hand.
ここにショコラがいたら、ご主人様は迷惑ですか？
She put her sandwich down on her plate. And just like yesterday, she looked at me with upturned eyes. Oh my gosh, I popped it down. No. Yeah, it's a problem. I answered her clearly.
そうですか。そうですよね。やっぱり。
Her shoulders drooped more than before. The ears which sat atop her head drooped down hardly too.
ショコラ。
Unable to make fun of anything, Vanilla could only look on with concern. Why are they doing this? That pain from last night pricked at my heart again. I tilted the already cooled coffee cup as my emotions dulled, unimpeded by my judgment.
それでも、ショコラは、ご主人様のところにいたいです。
Her usually always perky ears were drooping. Chocola was speaking clearly under her own volition.
ショコラがいるなら、私もここにいる。私もここにいたいと思う。
Vanilla's usually blank expression did not change. However, she showed me her strong determination. I don't remember Chocolate or Vanilla ever being this disobedient. That stayed in at the back of my mind. But I was going to have to be swayed by that. But if I was going to be swayed by that, then I wouldn't have said this. That understood. Hmm?
ご注文ありがとうございます。ロイヤルウッドです。ご注文いただきましたティーセットの配達にお伺いしました。ではこちら、お店の中に運んじゃいますね。こちらの段ボールで全部ですね。では間違いなければ、受領書にサインをいただいてもよろしいでしょうか。
She smiled brightly and brought out the invoice along with a pen. Okay, let's see. I looked over the sales invoice I received once more. Huh? Somehow this doesn't look like what I ordered.
え、本当ですか？それは品物が違うということでしょうか。
No, the stuff I ordered is in here too, but I looked over at the pile of boxes inside the bakery. Instead of my tiny bakery was a mountain of boxes. A mountain. It was all as if the inside of the bakery had been completely made of boxes. As you can see, we don't have this much tableware inside the bakery.
すみません。すぐに本社に確認しますので。 少々お待ちいただいてもよろしいでしょうか。大変申し訳ございません。こちらのミスで別の注文書と混じってしまっていたようでして、水無月様の方もすぐにご入りようと思いますので、もしよろしければご注文分の食器を受け取っていただければと思うのですが。
Accept this order? Huh? From all this? The bound cardboard boxes towered over everything. I was at a loss for words. Every box was of equal size. I wouldn't know what was inside each of them without opening them up. On top of that, looking at the sales invoice, I could see that they all contained expensive tea sets and tableware. If I accepted all, it would be a lot of work to deal with all the new items. There's still things that need doing in advance for my bakery's army, so I don't mind accepting these. But it's going to take a while to deal with all of this.
もちろん私もお手伝いさせていただきますので、私も次の配達に行かないといけないですし。
Look, you don't need to put all this pressure on me. From looks of it, it would take 2 hours or more. But to have it redelivered would take double the effort too. That's right, I have a lifeline.
にゃですか？猫ちゃんたち本当に助かりました。ありがとうございます。本当にありがとうございます。では私はこれで失礼させていただきますね。
I'm exhausted. I glanced at the table where we had finished organizing, lowered myself into a chair, and relaxed my shoulders.
ご主人様、冷たいお茶です。どうぞ。
Thanks, Chocola. Don't mind if I do. I downed the cold tea in one gulp. Somehow or another, the light meal tupperware had arrived. Soon I really had to get the bakery ready for its opening. I did say I needed any help I could find, and I really did need help this time.
褒めて褒めて褒めて褒めて。
I could sense the praise me aura coming from Chocola. She had a wide smile on her face and was in a ready stance to receive my approval. Thanks, I couldn't have done it without you too.
ご主人様に褒めてもらっちゃったよ、バニラ。
Oh my gosh, really, Chocola? I don't know what. Oh. See, I don't know what I would do if I was in Kasho's actual shoes.
柱の陰から見守ってた甲斐があったね。よしよし。ショコラ、ご主人様の役に立てましたね。
Oh no.
やっぱりご主人様一人じゃお仕事大変だと思うんです。猫の手でも存分に役に立つ。私たちがいなかったらまだ仕分け続行中だと思う。
Hey, you two are getting a bit too close. They leaned forward towards me for emphasis. It is true that without you two around, this would have been a real problem. But there's a different issue than the one from before. That's a different issue than the one before. You two have to go back home. Besides, it's not like I could ask you two to work for me or anything, okay?
そうですか。やっぱりダメですか。
Her shoulders drooped along with her ears and tail. The enthusiasm she showed earlier had completely disappeared. She sighed deeply and looked disheartened.
お掃除でもしてきます。せっかくですし。
She trudged up to the second floor, still dejected. Chocola isn't an idiot. I knew she was pushing herself to be bright and full of energy. But even so, it wasn't something I was going to easily change my mind about. It was all the more with how much she cared about me.
ご主人、私たちがいたら、そんなに迷惑？
She spoke quietly in her usual way. Vanilla tilted her head as she asked that question. You two aren't bad cat girls, and that's why I can't have you stay here.
悪い子じゃないのに、ダメなの？
It's because you two are good cat girls that I can't allow it. Oh no. She blinked as she took in my words. It was almost as she was trying to peer inside my heart. She stared directly at me long and hard.
人って難しい。猫にはそういうのはわからない。好きならそばにいたい。少なくとも私はそう思うけど。
Vanilla.
チョコラのところ行ってくる。
With those words, she went upstairs. The sound of her small footsteps slowly disappeared, and before long, I couldn't hear them anymore. Humans are hard to understand, huh? Inside the bakery, now devoid of anyone but myself, I repeated those words she had just said to me. Now that I think about it, it's a pretty inconsistent way of thinking, isn't it? Cats do not understand that. Having heard that said aloud, I began to understand what it really meant. It must be pretty nice to live the simple life of a cat girl, huh? I pondered as I looked at the name of the bakery affixed to the window. With a bitter smile, I began to clean up the tea sets that had arrived earlier.
ネコパラ。あれ？今日はあのたこ焼き屋がいない。
Just like yesterday, we took a walk through the park in the evening. However, that food stand was nowhere to be found. It just happened that no one was home on the day I decided to take the two cat girls home. I had also happened to leave the house key behind. So to make good use of the time, I went to do some shopping before Sugary got home.
ああ、ごめんバニラ。なんだっけ？また旅だっけ？だいたいそんな感じ。
That isn't the right word at all. Chocolate, if you're tired, why don't we rest a bit?
はい、少しだけ。
Of
でも
course.
大丈夫ですから。心配かけてごめんなさい、ご主人様。
There's no need for you to apologize. She had a troubled smile on her face as she nodded. It's pretty clear why she wasn't in good spirits. That's why there was nothing I could really say to her. Well, there happens to be a bench over there, so why don't we rest a bit?
じゃあ私、何か飲み物買ってくる。
Thanks. Something for everyone, okay? Oh, yay. They still don't have their bells, so they can't go on their own.
了解。任された。
I handed Vanilla some change and offered a bench to Chocola.
ふぅ。
The constant sea breeze rustled the trees in the park. All that could be heard throughout the empty park were the quiet sounds of nature. I silently sat down next to the disheartened Chocola. Like the gentle, sunny sun, time passed by
シ
slowly.
ョコラ、帰ります。
Her voice was so quiet that I wasn't quite sure if I had heard her or not. Even so, she answered clearly. Without saying a word, I responded by gently rubbing Chocola's
た
head.
まには、ご主人様に電話してもいいですか？
Yeah?
また、ご主人様のところに遊びに来てもいいですか？ 主人様は、ショコラたちのこと、ちゃんと毎日思い出してくれますか？ショコラは、離れてても、ご主人様って呼んでてもいいですか？
Her voice trembled as she frantically wiped away her tears. She she stifled her sobbing and voice became strained. She looked pained as she did her best to hold back her emotions, biting her lips. I held back my irresponsible words that were on the brink of coming out with all my strength. Yeah, of course I will. I was frustrated at myself for saying nothing. I was empty. I could only offer condolences that could not be put into words. I rubbed Choco's head as gently as I could.
やっぱりご主人様は優しいですね。
I don't really think I'm kind at all.
ご主人様、前も同じこと言ってましたから。
Before, Chocola closed her eyes and smiled.
覚えてますか？ショコラとバニラをご主人様としぐれちゃんが連れて帰ってくれた時のこと。
Of course I remember that. And here comes a flashback. It's a cold day half a year ago. Chocola and Vanilla were huddled together crying by the side of a road. They were still so young they couldn't even speak yet. It was that day that I embraced their small cold bodies and took them home with me. There was no way I could simply forget that important day when our family grew. In the beginning, you two really couldn't get used to things at
あの
home.
時は知らないお家で知らない人と猫ばっかりで怖くて。
You two wouldn't eat at all, which really worries Shigure.
はい。とっても心配かけちゃいました。
I started to hear a tiny bit of laughter in her voice as we remembers about the
ショ
past.
コラとバニラが熱を出した時のことも。
Oh, I definitely do remember that. And there we go. This is right before extra. It's a few days after we brought Chocola and Vanilla home. At that point, they only occasionally drink. They would only occasionally drink some water. And as always, they couldn't really touch their food, or they didn't really touch their food. A combination of malnourishment and cold water had really begun to weaken their bodies. They both developed high fevers and were in pain.
あの時は夜中で誰にも気づいてもらえなくて、とにかく苦しくて、辛くて、寂しくて。